Yo, what's up, y'all? Welcome to Let's Talk About Horror with your boy, Walterdoom. All right, and welcome to the first podcast ever. And on this podcast, we're going to be talking about horror movies that are on stream for the everyday couch potato or the person that loves horror or, somebody that's just, is not too knowledgeable about horror. This is what this podcast is about. This is nothing like expert analysis. I'm not fucking Roger Ebert or anybody like that, or fucking Matt Pack off of Game Theory, but shouts out to him. No plug in this shit. But yeah, we're gonna be talking about a couple of horror movies today. We're gonna talk about Veronica, and we're gonna talk about The Babadook. We're going to get into those, talk about my experience with those, and yeah, we're just going to dive into it. No spoilers are going to be given. Well, as much as possible, no spoilers are going to be given. We're just going to be talking about how I feel about certain things in the movie, and that's pretty much it. You guys could take it however you want to it, derive your own opinion about it. But if you guys want to have an opinion about it, go ahead and leave it in the comments section. So yeah, let's get started. But how y'all feeling today? Just a couple of days ago, I was watching this movie called I Spit on Your Grave 2. And I don't know if any of you guys seen it before, but this movie is actually a remake from a movie made in the 1970s with the same name. But I actually watched the original one, not a sequel, but the actual first one. And I gotta say, it's a very interesting movie, to say the least, because it's a rape revenge horror movie. So in this movie, you see, just like I said, it's a brutal. You'll see somebody get brutally abused in the movie. Well, brutally sexually abused. Oh my God, I don't know why I can't bring that out. Brutally sexually abused in the movie. And with the first one that I've seen, it was pretty brutal. Because this woman was getting abused by like 4 men in the movie. The first one, the movie is actually dealing with like a woman who is writing a book. And what happens is that she comes across these townspeople who live around the area. At first, they're trying to be nice to her. You get the idea. They're trying to, be like these cat-calling dudes that's like being nice to her, the typical guys you'll see, same perverted guys you'll see on the streets. I'm speaking on the women's sense, that, type of guys that'll be like, hey, beautiful, how you are today, blah, 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 stuff like that, like maybe some of their Uber drivers or some shit like that, But yeah, she meets these 4 guys. One guy is shy. And what happens is they get in contact with each other, the shy guy and the writer. And in this moment, the guys that are like perverted trying to holler at her, they ambush those 2 and start sexually abusing the woman. The woman only came out there just to write a fucking book, but these guys had other things intended for her. So, yeah, they sexually abused her, left her for dead, and she came back. They thought she was dead. She came back to life and got her revenge on them, and it was the most brutal shit ever. With the second one that I seen, this one is actually like a remake. It's a sequel to a remake, so it's pretty much like a whole rebooted series. The woman in this one, she is not a writer, but she is a model. And she's dealing with like 3 guys that are very much more, obviously more perverted, but more sick than the guys in the original film, I gotta say. Whereas the guys in the first film, they were very perverted, but the guys in this film, they were very sick in a way. Because in this one, They took the woman and actually they abused her killed her neighbor and abducted her and put her in like another fucking country. I mean, literally, they trafficked her into another country. And not only did they do that, but I mean, they had other people in line helping them with like trafficking this girl and all that. And I mean, if you guys ever watch it, you guys will be tripped out by what happens in this movie. I mean, to me, I was just like, damn, is this how human trafficking works for these motherfuckers? This fucking shit is sick, you know? But yeah, it was real fucked up. But I gotta say, when she comes back hard on these motherfuckers. Definitely, you guys gotta check it out. If you guys have this app called Tubi, it's on there. You gotta check it out. It's a free service. You can watch whatever movie you want to watch. Well, not really whatever movie you want to watch. You can watch almost anything you want to watch. They have a large selection. The only downfall is that they run commercials in between scenes. But if you don't mind ads and all that, and the ads aren't very long, it's like 2 or 3 ads that they usually run, and they don't last for no more than like 10 seconds. So if you guys could deal with the ads, definitely check it out. Because this is a movie that, I mean, if you're not too squeamish about the abuse that's happening, and, well, if you could get past it, because I could barely get past the first one. In the first one that was made in the 1970s, that one had me a little more squeamish than this one. I mean, this one had me squeamish also, but it's not as squeamish as the 70s one. The 70s one I felt was a little bit more cerebral because of how it looked. And to me, honestly, I mean, the way she was screaming and kicking and screaming and all that, and the way they were holding her down, it actually felt like it was actually happening in real time, in real life. And even though I know it was just acting, I was still like, fuck, this is some fucked up shit. I mean, I don't know. Maybe I'm alone on that shit, but definitely check it out. It's a good movie to watch. But yeah, other than that, I mean, that's the intro. So now we're going to take a quick break for a moment. It's going to be led into the transition by a wolf. And once I come back, we're going to get into Veronica. All right. See you in a moment. For y'all wondering what the hell that was, that is my transition break. So yeah, whenever I'm about to break into a new subject, you guys will hear the wolf call. Yeah, just because I want to. But anyway, enough of that shit. Let me talk about Veronica for a little bit. Well, before I watched it, I was real interested in it because it was something that was discussed at my job. We were just like talking about like scary movies, you know, that were very scary and what have you. And Veronica was brought up, and I was like very interested in it. So I looked it up, saw that it was on Netflix. By the way, if you guys want to watch Veronica, it's on Netflix if you guys haven't watched it yet. But went and checked it out, put it on my watch list, and went home and watched it immediately. I did not finish watching it because I was hella sleepy, hella tired. And yeah, I mean, I couldn't get through 5 minutes because it started off way too slow for me. So I ended up turning it off. A couple of weeks later on YouTube on this channel called Looper, shout outs to Looper, no plug intended. But they were talking about the scariest movies that you could watch that you won't be able to finish. And Veronica was one of those movies that was on the list. So once again, I was growing interested. I literally went back on Netflix and checked out Veronica, realized, and I totally forgot I was watching it, realized I was watching it, didn't get through the whole movie, well, because I didn't get through 5 minutes of it, but went and started from the beginning again, watched it, and instead of really paying attention to like the story or just like having no expectations at all and just let the story be the story. Um, I was literally looking for all the scary parts that to happen. So I ended up disappointed at first watching it. I watched it again and holy fucking shit. I mean, I had to really like take back anything negative I had to say about the movie. I mean, there's still parts that are like, I really don't care about, but this time around, it was a lot better the second time around than it was the first time around. And the reason why I say that is because I was paying attention to the story of how everything develops. And the way everything develops, I mean, you see at first, like with Veronica, basically the premise is Veronica is basically playing with the Ouija board with her two friends, Deanna and Rosa, and they're trying to conjure up, like they're trying to connect to the spiritual world. Now, I mean, they're in this movie, they're teenagers, so it's a teenager thing that they think like nothing bad is gonna happen. But what happens is like Veronica, she wanted to get in contact with her dad. Deanna wanted to get in contact with her boyfriend. Well, technically ex-boyfriend because he died in a motorcycle accident. But they get in contact and a whole lot of freakish shit happens after they gain contact. Now, also in lieu of everything that's happening, there's a lunar eclipse that's hitting. And we learn like in the classroom setting that when there's a lunar eclipse, like it's the time of like where great evils come about more. So the movie sets everything up beautifully to where like whatever possession that's taking place is much more darker than what we think it is. Which is what we learn later on in the movie from one of the characters, which they call Sister Death. Now, Sister Death is a nun that went blind, and she blinded herself. I mean, that's what we learn later on in the movie. And when she and Veronica are talking, because they talk later on in the movie, and, just already when Veronica meets Sister Death, I mean, she has already a lot of fucked up shit happening around her. I mean, holy shit. I mean, there's shit that's happening when she's with her little brother. There's shit happening to her when she's with her little sisters. There's shit that happens in her fucking room by herself. I mean, it's crazy. And the only person that shit didn't happen to was her mom. Her mom didn't really experience any of the freaky shit that was going around. It was just only Veronica and her little brother and sisters that got the bad end of the stick of the whole possession shit. But yeah, when her and Sister Death are like talking, and to be honest, I actually like Sister Death. I wish there was more Sister Death in fucking Veronica, because she was the one that actually made the most sense and tried to put the most logical explanations together that Veronica couldn't put together. But at the same time, it was like Veronica was sitting there fearing Sister Death, or like all the other kids, they were fearing Sister Death. I mean, maybe because the Sister Death kind of looked like the nun off of fucking The Devil Within. I don't know if you guys seen that movie before, but there's this nun that they were using as like a fucking advertisement, which I thought was the demon in the movie, like that the movie was based on this nun that was causing all these problems. But surprise, surprise, no, it wasn't. It was just false advertisement to just get people to go into the movie. But if you guys ever see that poster, it's literally like a fucking nun, like very haggardly looking, but she has like these piercing blue eyes that's not even like anything that's more, I would say, piercing, or like how people would like to put it, like, oh, like the softest. It wasn't like no soft blue eyes. They were very demonic looking. And to me, I was just like, damn, this movie must be real dark. But it really wasn't. I watched the movie. It's on Amazon Prime. If anybody got Amazon Prime, you could definitely check it out there. But yeah, back to Sister Death. Sister Death, she really made the most sense about what was going on with Veronica. She told her about like what the demon was and how the demon is, and that basically she shouldn't get God involved in any of it, because the demon itself wasn't anything that came out of hell. It was much more powerful than that. The thing that she told Veronica was, it's just, you have to do whatever you did wrong, you have to do right. And that was literally like the deepest shit that Veronica could hear. So yeah, I mean, Sister Death was definitely one character I wish they spent more time bringing into the movie. But I mean, I get why they didn't. I mean, it's definitely a movie. It was a movie that was actually based on a real life event. And if you guys don't know about, like, if you guys haven't searched up about this movie, definitely take a look at it. But there is a couple of articles about what this movie is based off, but it's based off this story that came in 91 that came from Madrid about this girl named Estefania Gutierrez Lazo, and she was also dealing with the demon that possessed her. And the way she got that was the same way Veronica did. She was using a Ouija board to conjure up and get contact with her ex-boyfriend who died from a motorcycle accident. Easter egg, anybody? Yeah. But after she kind of like did that, she started experiencing strange events around her. Like, she started having seizures, she started having hallucinations. Her behavior was becoming more aggressive, according to her mother. And yeah, according to her mother, she was in 6 months, she was experiencing a lot of supernatural activity that was happening around her. And there's also a news report. I mean, it's in Spanish, so if anybody speaks Spanish, you'll probably understand it better than I do. I don't speak Spanish, but you will definitely see like the story, and just watching it alone kind of gave me the creeps a bit. I was like, damn, this is the girl. And the way the picture looked, it looked hella creepy, bro. Like, this, because all I could think about is what happened in the movie and what's happening to this girl. And she went through 6 months, whereas in the movie, it's a 3-day breakdown in a way. So, yeah, I mean, the story, which is written by Paco Plaza, directed by Paco Plaza, and I think it's also written by him. He really wanted to bring out this story because it was a story that was famous in Madrid. I mean, it was one of the first stories to ever be police reported that there was a supernatural incident happening, and it was like one of the first to be seen by police and what have you. So that's really like the backstory of Veronica and why it was created. Another thing that I like about Veronica is basically they stay true to form about the story about what happened to Stefania, and they stay true to the timeline, which happened in 91. And you get that whole 90s feel, which is good. I mean, I grew up in the 90s myself, but you get the whole 90s feel, like with the clothes, the music, and the setting of everything. I mean, because no one had like a digital phone or a digital camera or anything like that. You know, they had like the simplest technologies ever, And, they brought back the cassette players, which was the shit back in the days. I mean, I don't know how many of you guys had a cassette player. I mean, I didn't have a Walkman cassette player, but I did have like a stereo cassette player at home. Man, I mean, I don't know if you guys ever did this, but back in my day, man, we used to listen to like the radio, have the cassette player, wait till like our favorite song came on, recorded that shit, and made a mixtape with all those fucking songs that was like cool to us. Well, at least for me, I did that shit. I did that shit when I was young. I mean, I did that also with like music videos too. But let's get back to Veronica. Yeah, but the setting does give you a very good 90s feel to the movie. It is definitely a good atmosphere of it. They really did do a good job on the design of everyone's clothing. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much it. I mean, I think, would I say this movie is scary? There's possibly, I mean, there's some scary stuff that does happen if you're somebody that does believe in ghost stories or is scared of ghost stories or don't really like ghost stories. But for me, I mean, I wasn't freaked out by it. I love stories like this. Actually, I love slasher movies more than anything, but this movie was pretty cool. I mean, sometimes ghost stories, I feel they dick around too much. They definitely dick around too much before they really get to what they want to do. But this movie was cool because it wasn't too much dicking around. They got straight to the point. Once when the possession happened, everything was going down, which I like, Not so much like, hey, I'm going to dick around for a little bit, take it real slow, and then come in full force. Nah. In this movie, The Entity, which I got to mention also, I mean, if you guys watched this movie before, I swear, The Entity is the one motherfucker I was just like, okay, sure. I mean, because when you see The Entity, the first time you see it in Veronica's room. And the way we see it is because after like the whole possession, after the whole seance, actually, it's not even the possession. After the whole seance at her school, she's at home and it's pretty much nighttime. A lot of shit happens like during the day. I'm not going to spoil those parts for you guys. You guys have to watch that on your own. But it's nighttime. Veronica pretty much goes to sleep. She wakes up and she sees like her little sister's hiding in her closet. So she's looking like, what the fuck just happened? So they point to the corner of her room. In the corner of her room is her dad. Now, mind you, her father's already dead. It's like, that's the freakiest shit ever. But here's the crazy part. This motherfucker naked. What the hell? Like, and I just thought that was the creepiest shit ever. Like, okay, why is he naked? Kind of thing. So he's in there naked, creeping towards her. She's scared shitless, bro. But she's like trying to gain her composure. She's like, okay, this is my dad. He would never hurt me, but he's dead. Like, why is he here? Why am I seeing him right here, right now? So she says, Papa. All you see is these motherfuckers grab her out of nowhere. And all you see is like the dad melting into the entity, which is like this blackish, leathery looking motherfucker. I mean, to me, this motherfucker looked like one of the Cenobites from Hellraiser, bro. But we're not going to get into that. I mean, if you guys seen Hellraiser, you guys know what I'm talking about. But that's how the motherfucking entity looked to me. Yeah, that motherfucker, that was a crazy looking motherfucker, to be honest. But that's pretty much all I could say good about Veronica. The only thing I just hate about it was too overhyped. I mean, they overhyped it way too much to be scary. I swear, like, I was waiting for all the scary parts to happen. they didn't really happen for me. I mean, there were parts where actually there was no parts where I jumped. I'm lying. I'm lying, you guys. But it was definitely like if you are somebody that don't like hearing like banging noises because it's a ghost story. I mean, you're gonna hear a lot of banging, a lot of like things disappearing, things being moved, seeing things moved, and just like all out creepy shit happening. If you can't handle that shit, this is probably not the movie for you. But I would definitely say check out Veronica if this shit does not freak you out. All right. Well, now I'm about to take a break, and when I come back, I'm going to talk about The Babadook. Baba, Dook, Dook. Okay, I'm gonna stop fucking around with you guys. And I talked about ghosts dicking around, and I'm just dicking around right now. Oh man. Alright. Well, before I start talking about the Babadook, y'all, I'm gonna just do a little fact checking real quick. So, like how I called the last movie The Devil Within, it's actually called The Devil Inside. So, yeah, if you guys look for The Devil Within, you'll be looking at the wrong fucking movie. Oh, man. But yeah, let's go ahead and talk about the Babadook. So, first things first, how many of y'all had like ever read a pop-up book when you were younger? Because I have before, and I remember I really did enjoy reading those books. I mean, I don't remember specifically what books I actually read, but yeah, I mean, they were pretty cool, fun part of my childhood, before becoming an adult and life sucks. I'm kidding, y'all. Let's not make this like really morbid, but yeah. Um, can you guys imagine like your favorite pop-up book or kids book at that? Like something like fucking Cat in the Hat or the nigga from Three Eggs and Ham. No, Green Eggs and Ham. I said Three Eggs and Ham. What the fuck am I talking about? Oh man. Shit. Sorry guys, I took a shot earlier. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. Sorry. But yeah, just imagine if like one of those characters came to life. Well, that's basically what happens in the fucking Babadook. And let me start off by saying, man, before I watched this shit, I was not gonna watch this shit ever. Ever. I shit you not. I thought the premise of the movie was fucking stupid. Especially the thought of like some fucking children's story coming to life, and start terrorizing you. I'm just like, okay, I'm about to read a fucking story with some fucking bootleg Dr. Seuss character about to hunt me. Like, what the fuck? Chucky, laugh at these niggas real quick. Yeah, so it's just like, the fuck? I'm gonna be terrorized by some kind of fucking Dr. Seuss knockoff or whatever. But anyway, I watched it anyway because what was the reason why I watched this shit? Oh, because I mean, I watch well on YouTube. I watched these guys. They were doing a show called the ETC show. Shout outs to the ETC guys. No plug. I don't know if you guys know right now. I watch a lot of fucking YouTube. So if I mention anybody that's on YouTube, I'm gonna say no plug because I'm not trying to plug them dudes. This is not sponsored. I just watch them for fun because I enjoy watching them. But anyway, yeah. So they were talking about how like this is one of the best movies you could watch in the 2010s or 2000s or whatever that the shit was. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna watch this fucking Babadook movie. My sigh should say it all. my side just was like, man, where do I begin? Because really, where do I begin? I mean, it's not a bad movie per se. It's just, I just felt like certain things could have been different. But anyway, if you guys never seen The Babadook before, here's a little premise, an idea of what the movie is about. I mean, basically, the movie is about this mother and son. The mother is played by Essie Davis. She plays the character Amalia, and her son is played by Noah Wiseman, who plays her son Samuel. And basically, what it is just a story about a tired parent who is overworked by her job and her son, and a tired son who has a crippling fear of monsters at 6 years old. I believe he's 6. Well, either way. So, the kid, he has like this crippling fear of monsters. She has this crippling tiredness. and you could clearly see it in the progression of this movie. I mean, holy fucking shit, dude. Whoever the makeup artist is that was working on Essie, they really made her look fucking tired, bro. I mean, for real, for real. It was crazy. But yeah, they come across this fucking book that appears out of nowhere. First off, what a fucking cop-out for a plot to move a movie forward. I mean, it could have been just a fucking book that he picked up at a bookstore. I mean, hello, people. I mean, can we do that shit? I'm just saying. I mean, to me, I would have wrote it differently than that. I mean, but hey, I mean, let's go with the cop-out, you know? We find a fucking book out of nowhere. It could have been a book from the school library for all I care, or some kind of book sale. Something. I mean, come on. Just give me something logical. But anyway, I'm not going to harp on that too much because I'm still like a few things that kind of upset me was that shit in the fucking ending. And I'm not going to spoil the ending because even the ending was like, what the holy fuck? I mean, right now I'm sounding like fucking Robin right now. Holy guacamole, Batman. If you guys ever watched the old Adam West Batman TV shows, I mean, shit. They got it on Amazon Prime, so it's no excuse to say like, oh, well, I never seen that shit. Like, if you got Amazon Prime, yeah, you can see that shit. But anyway, moving forward. So yeah, I mean, they come across this book that comes out of nowhere that's in their house. Like I said, Sam is already afraid of monsters, so he picks up this book called Mr. Babadook that's in his bookshelf. His mom reads it because she reads a book to him every single night. She starts reading the book. It comes off pretty innocent. You know, it's like, this guy is Mr. Babadook, and you can make a friend out of you and me if you're clever, you know, and all that type of shit. And it starts off pretty innocent, like I said, but then as she reads deeper into the book, it comes off pretty insidious. And what's crazy is, like, you know, there's a boy in the story in The Babadook, and she sees like there's a boy. Well, not she, but he being like Sam sees that there's a boy in it, and he starts becoming scared, and he's like, "Is there a boy? What happens to the boy?" And he's just getting freaking scared out of, like, he's getting scared shitless. So after his mom is done reading the book, you just see fucking Sam crying and shit, and he's just pretty much like stuck in a room with his mom again at night because he is scared shitless. Man, I said shitless so many times. I'm sorry, y'all. But this is one of those podcasts where, like, We don't give a fuck about how we speak, you know? Okay, yeah, but yeah, another thing that pissed me off is the whole possession shit, because I feel like I thought we knew when she was possessed, but then turns out we didn't know when she was possessed, and it just was like, okay. And I felt like there was three scenes that literally was like doing the same shit over and over again, and I was just like, okay, I thought she was possessed already. Here's one reason why. The first time when she gets possessed, and this is kind of like a spoiler. Well, not really a spoiler. It's not really a spoiler because I just told you like when the fuck did she get possessed. But anyway, moving forward. First time we see her get possessed, well, supposedly possessed, but I guess not. She is like lying in bed. She sees the fucking door open because now she has Sam in the room with her. She sees the door open and she sees like the little Babadook hand waving at her, just like in the pop-up book. I mean, if you guys didn't catch that, you guys gotta catch it. I'm sitting here watching the Babadook right now while I'm doing this shit with you guys. So there's stuff I'm like sitting here catching while talking to you guys about this. But yeah, so the Babadook literally goes in the room while she's in there with Sam. Sam is knocked the fuck out because, well, yeah, he's just knocked the fuck out. I'm not gonna spoil why. So he goes in there, and here's the thing: this is our first look at the Babadook, and I didn't like the way we seen him the first time. You know, they use so much CGI for this motherfucker when he's first being shown, and I thought it was terrible CGI, to be honest. I mean, I thought it could have been a lot better. I mean, shit, you could have used like a normal person and just, filmed it on the floor, just made like something on the floor look like the ceiling. I mean, we wouldn't have known the difference, and just had the motherfucker jump at the screen. But anyway, he's on the ceiling. He appears super CGI'd out. And what he does is like he kind of dives over towards Amalia, and that's pretty much it. I mean, she gasped like with her mouth all wide open. And to me, doesn't that sound like she's possessed, everybody? I mean, am I alone on that one? I think she's possessed. But hey, I mean, I guess she wasn't, because later on in the movies, I mean, there's more Babadooking or Babadicking around. That was such a lame, like, fucking... That was such a lame joke, but whatever. If you can't laugh at your own jokes, fuck it. You're lame. Nah. You guys are going to hear me laugh at my own jokes a lot, to be honest. That's just, I find me funny. So that's all that matters. It don't matter if anyone else finds me funny. But anyway, yeah, so we see this dude just dicking around even more. And honestly, if he was the entity on Veronica, that motherfucker wouldn't dick around. This motherfucker Babadook was doing too many games. It's like he wanted to play hide and seek most of the time. He's like, hey, I'm here. Wait, I'm not here. I'm here. I mean, it's like he was dicking around, calling her. I mean, he called her on the phone, doing his little Babadook call, which is just 3 knocks and saying, well, what I just did earlier with the whole ba Duke, because that's literally his calling card. Shit, he was digging around so much. I mean, he might as well have been Ghostface and just asked,
what's your favorite scary movie?
He might as well just have did that. At least it would have been a little bit more scarier. Like, oh shit, this dude thinks he's... Well, actually, no, it wouldn't have been scary. I just would have found that shit funny. I would have been like, oh shit, he's doing Ghostface. But, yeah, just, that was another thing, those are like three things that really kind of pissed me off about this movie or left me kind of confused in a way. But I'm not saying entirely this movie is bad. I mean, it's more of an okay movie to me because it does a lot more, well, a few more good than bad. Those three things are probably like three big things that kind of kills the movie a little bit. But there are parts of the movie that is like really funny or just, it was really good. One, I got to give respect about how they transition a lot of the scenes because throughout like some of the movie, we see like the tiredness of Amalia through like how they transition from night to day, and pretty much we get the idea that she's insomniac because she's not sleeping, and we get the feeling like she hasn't been sleeping because each time she hits the bed, we get a fast forward elapse of time that passes. Well, fast elapse. I said fast forward elapse. We get a fast forward lapse of time that passes from day to night, and when it transitions, we see her like very tired, very haggardly looking. The bags are really heavy in her eyes. And, we see the tiredness of her. What else is good? Well, actually, there's more funny parts than good. Well, I mean, they're good. They're good. Some of the effects are good as far as like how they were trying to scare you a little bit. There's typical ghost noises that happens, and like I said, if you're not a big fan of like the whole sudden noises, banging, screaming, stuff like that, just be warned. Just be warned. That shit is in this movie also. There's also like funny parts to this. So a couple of funny parts that I'm gonna tell you about. First funny part is probably when Sam is seeing more of the Babadook than Amalia. Sam is pretty much like tripping out about this dude when he first appears. So Amalia, thinking that Sam is already asleep, she's in her room getting ready to unwind. She don't put no sexy music on, but she's getting ready to unwind. Yeah, she's like, it's been a long day. Haven't slept in a couple of days. Yeah, and I'm trying to get some rest right now. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna play with this. I'm gonna feel good and go to sleep right now. Okay. All right, that no more cringiness, I promise you guys. But yeah, she pretty much like brings out this box. I don't know if it has all her essential toys or whatever, but it's like literally a box with a vibrator in there. So she pretty much uses the vibrator, just to kind of like unwind. She's vibing for the night. So Sam, he's in his room scared as shit. He's like, he sees his like fucking closet door open, just like in the story. And as soon as he sees that shit, he runs out of his room to his mom's room. Now his mom was very close to hitting that final note. I'm gonna put it subtly like that because I can be as graphic as possible, but I'm trying to be cool with you guys, But yeah, before his mom can hit that final stretch, this dude pops in and he's like, "Mommy, the Babadook, the Babadook, the Babadook." I was in there like, what a fucking dick. This kid. Oh man, it was so funny. Another funny scene was when she cussed out Sam so much. I swear, this had to have been the funniest shit ever. Um, so like she eventually in the story, I mean, you guys will come across where she starts putting Sam on medication so he can fall asleep more. So it would help her fall asleep more because he won't be disturbing her. So she puts him to sleep. Well, they're pretty much sleeping in the living room because this is also when like the whole Babadook shit happens. You know, when I thought she was first possessed. So she takes Sam and they go to like the living room. Morning strikes. Of course, you know, Amelia again, not able to sleep. Insomnia is hitting her real tough. So she goes to her room in the morning and she's walking very, you know, tired. Like she has the real tired movement going on. So she goes to bed. Right behind her is fucking Sam, dude. So Sam, he's like, Mother, I'm hungry. I haven't ate anything. I'm feeling sick because of the medication. You told me to take this with food. I need some food. I can't find any food. You know what this bitch said, and she said this shit like a fucking savage, which is why once again I tell you, this is why I thought she was possessed at first. She was like, well, if you're hungry, why don't you just eat shit? And I was like, whoa. I think Chucky will say it best for me.
What are you, fucking nuts?
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much what I would have been thinking because he was looking at her like, whoa, bro, like, where did that come from? Here's the newsflash, Sam. Those many months of you leaving her tired and shit, that's what happened. But, I would have to say also, what was like interesting was also the confrontation scene between Sam and Amalia. I mean, but you know, let me keep in mind, she was also supernaturally possessed by the Babadook. And when this confrontation happens, oh my God. I mean, I might be fucked up for laughing at that shit, but you know, fuck it, whatever. I'm fucked up for it. But when Sam is like trying to confront Amalia, well, really, he's really trying to confront the Babadook, but he's possessing Amalia. When he's confronting her, you know, she does the shriek and does the talk like the Babadook. Also, after I'm done talking about the scene, I'm about to talk about the Babadook in a moment because I think this should be something I should mention because this might be the one thing that was kind of a deal breaker for me in a bit. But yeah, we'll get to that in a moment. But back to the scene. So he's confronting the Babadook. She does the shriek like the Babadook, which is obviously showing that the Babadook is her. And what happens to Sam, he's looking at her and all you see is all this piss dripping down his pants, bro. It's funny. I was just like, damn, dude, is he that scared? She was like, you little pig, 6 years old and you're still wetting yourself. Oh, man. But enough shit talking about that. Let me talk about like the Babadook for a second. The actual monster, the Babadook. Like I said, man, I know I called him a reject, a Dr. Seuss character, but and he dicks around too much also. But what pisses me off about him is who the fuck picked the way this dude sounds? Who the fuck is actually voicing this dude? I swear, it's like, he's not like Freddy, where Freddy would say some shit like,
Please, God.
This
I mean, at least that's a little freaky, you know? But we get this dude that just says 3 words majority of the movie, and the rest of his words is being projected out of Amalia. Also, what I don't like is his fucking shrieks, dude. I don't know who the fuck was picking these sound effects. I mean, he sounded like a very big knockoff of fucking Godzilla or something. I mean, I don't know if they're trying to pay homage. I mean, it's like, I'm confused. What the fuck is the Babadook? Is he a fucking ghost? Is he a fucking monster? Is he a fucking man that died a long time ago and he's just very ugly? Like, what the fuck is he? And that just confuses the shit out of me. I just was not feeling the Babadook as a monster at all. I mean, that's just me by myself. I mean, if anyone else feels different about it, you can have that opinion. I mean, but for me, I was just more like, okay, yeah, oh, sure, you're just there. I mean, not to say he was a bad monster. I'm just saying I wasn't feeling his style. He wasn't witty or hilarious like Ghostface. He wasn't sadistic and murderous like Jason or Freddy. He wasn't even like remotely nonsensical or comical like the fucking Leprechaun. And yeah, I brought Leprechaun in this shit. I just thought the Babadook itself was just okay. He was just no more of a knockoff Dr. Seuss character to me. And I know I'm overusing that phrase a lot, but I mean, that's just how I feel. And even at the end, I mean, I'm still like, bruh, are you serious? I mean, yeah, I mean, just the way everything goes down at the end with this dude, it did not really satisfy anything for me. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much my take on that character. I mean, there's other lovable characters on here. I mean, Sam could be pretty annoying because, believe me, Sam was annoying me when I was watching the movie. But after like maybe the Babadook was possessing Amalia, that kind of really changed after a while because Sam started showing his true colors and his cleverness, because, you know, he was the one that was mainly believing in the Babadook and was really preparing for the Babadook. Unlike his mom, who, you know, is like an adult. And this is truly what that story is. It's like when you stop believing in almost like childish things in a way, and you're growing up in a society where like things is fucked up, but hey, we're not looking too deep in it. But yeah, you know, because she's an adult, she didn't believe in the Babadook, and it brought the Babadook to come out even stronger because in the movie, she gets rid of the book. She actually tears up the pages in the book. But what happens later, which I wish this happened more in the movie, I'm kind of upset it didn't happen. But the book eventually comes back and it adds more pages to the story, where it started off with like the story about, like I said earlier, about her son. It changed into a story about her, and then the book was taunting her. And it was funny because like the pages that she ripped up, they were mended back together. Now, I wish at some point in the movie the book came back again, because she ended up burning the book and she went to the police about it, but you know, she had no proof to say like someone was like fucking with her and all that. But eventually she burned the book And I wish the book actually came back like a very charred looking book. Just taunting her, adding more pages and shit. Yeah, I wish it came back as more pages, just taunting and just like, really fucking with her head. I really felt like it should have centered around that more. It would have probably made a better story and a little bit more exciting than what it was. I mean, the story was cool as it was. I think more could have been centered around. Other lovable characters, they have this lady named Miss I don't know why I'm getting tongue tied, but Mrs. Roach. She is like their neighbor and what have you, and she's just this lovable old lady who has Parkinson's, and she's just the nicest ever. I mean, she could remind you guys of somebody's grandma. Like if you loved your grandma, she would definitely remind you of her. So she was just a very lovable character that, I mean, I could say she had a decent role in the movie. I mean, they didn't bring her out enough, but she was definitely a good, likable character that just make you go, well, she was a pleasant role in the movie. But other than that, I mean, that's my take on the Babadook. There's nothing much more I could put into it. I mean, there's more characters to talk about, but we are going almost over an hour on this shit. And yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys are pretty tired of hearing from my voice so far. But anyway, just to close out saying, if you guys want to go check out the Babadook, definitely check it out just to get your own experience from it. It is on Netflix. It's going to be there. It's been on there for a while. I don't see that shit going anywhere anytime soon. But other than that, I mean, in closing, yeah, I mean, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day. I'm about to go ahead and watch some more scary movies just so I could tell you guys more about just more movies to watch, I'm going to try and keep it probably as obscure as possible. I'm going to probably talk about some popular movies, but I'm not going to spend too much time on the most popular ones because I feel already like majority of you guys that's probably listening to this probably already seen most of these popular movies like the fucking Conjuring, Purge, and all that other good stuff. I mean, I haven't seen The Purge, so I'm the one person that's missing out. I know, right? That's fucking sad for me, but that's going to be my mission. That's going to be my goal before this year is over. Watch The Purge. But anyway, yeah, and just enjoy the rest of your day. If you guys enjoyed this, make sure to follow, what the fuck am I saying? Let's do that over again. Make sure to follow, like, and subscribe. And this is your boy, Walterdoom, signing out on Let's Talk About Horror. This is America. Don't let them catch you slipping now. Peace.